Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the Final Fantasy XII Ultima project here, where last time we finally did the main mass of this dress down here. We got everything kind of put down, got the rough form down and in, and if you watch that one, you can see it looks a little different right now than when we left off before. So what I did before is I just kind of really quickly, like I kind of usually do in between sessions, I kind of added a real quick little detail on the top, a little bit on bottom here, put kind of the top of the dress on there, just kind of give a rough idea of what that's going to be. And biggest part of that is this amount here. If you remember, we went and detailed out the kind of the main torso area of the dress. I've literally since taken this much off of this torso portion of the dress. I had added too much clay on there and realized it was kind of, she wasn't as skinny as she was supposed to be. So I wound up taking quite a bit off of that to kind of shrink her back down again. However, we can't quite finish off the main part of the dress here until we get these hands done. So today our main focus is really going to be twofold. It's going to be getting at least one of these hands in. I'm going to focus here on the left hand here. Well, you're seeing it on the right, but yeah. I'm going to focus on the hand here, and then have that cloth kind of transfer down into the rest of this dress so this can actually be folded correctly. Now, you're probably wondering what these little bits here are added on top. And that's because when I was making the thumbnail for the last image, or for the last model before it went up online, I kind of juxtaposed this with the wings in the background because I'm still not sure how to just make this look good as a thumbnail. And I realized my arms were pointed down more than they should have, and they needed to come up a little more. And what that did was that now requires more clay to come up and in, which is actually really nice. Now gives a little more of that profile coming in the end. So I'm actually kind of super excited. This is going to make it look better in the end. But unfortunately, I can't just. It's going to be a little bit of cat and mouse doing these hands, because on one hand you want to have the fabric up in place, ready to go, so you have something for the hand to grasp onto. On the other hand, you want to have the hand there in order to know exactly where the fabric is going to come from and go in. So there's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse going on, which goes first, which goes second. But for now, what I'm going to do is going to mold out one of the hands real quick first, kind of roughly get it in place, then kind of roughly get the fabric in place. We're going to kind of do a little back and forth action to get this kind of right. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos before, you kind of know the process I'm going to go about for making one of these hands. So it's not going to be that much different. The only difference is on this one, it is smaller than usual. This will be about the same size as mids. If you saw my previous project in the end, only because Ultima here is not exactly a large model. She's definitely much, much smaller than my normal. Normally I have 10-inch models going on, and she is standing, really I say it's about 7 inches, but that 7 inches includes about almost 2 inches worth of that miter on top of her head with the horns and stuff going up. So yeah, she's about half the size of what my usual ones are. So it's the same process, but it gets a little more delicate in the end. So here we have kind of the size of, we can have the back of the hand. Let's go and cut out some fingers here. We don't have to be super precise on this part. We can just make them large. I don't want the fingers themselves to be too long because that runs into other problems. Although kind of in the image we're going off of, if we zoom in a little closer, boop, she does have kind of, I would say longer appendages, like longer kind of fingers going on, but at the same time they're not, I'm not going to try to make them super long. I have a tendency to make these things kind of super long, and I would rather not do that because it just feels really bad once we get going on to the next step. So we're just kind of starting out. I'm putting fingers are fun because there are a lot of different ways you can do fingers. This is just a way that's kind of worked for me in the end, is I'll go kind of put them all on the back. We can now kind of roll these guys in here. I can see I already have, we're a little bit fat on the side, so we don't need, I don't think I cut anything off of that. But we have that going on here. Yeah, I will say if you're at all interested in how this dress on her was done, I would highly, highly recommend hopping on the previous video and just kind of jumping to around that 750 mark in the video. And I was going to highlight that one real quick because that took a long time to do, that montage that went on there. And B, it really does kind of show how that all went together really, really well. So all I'm doing here is kind of taking out the palm area. We didn't need it to be as thick as it was. Now we're back to being thinner again. And with that, we go and blend this together. This should only take... This used to take a long time for me to do. Now it just takes a few seconds, and bim bam boom, we get a rough form in here that we need. Which you're going to find as you do things and you get more practice and whatnot on what you do become more proficient at whatever task you're dealing with at the moment. So, does that feel around the right size kind of for this? That's probably about the right size in the end. I don't think I want to go any smaller than that. So now with that, we want to have a thumb kind of coming up and up. So it's hard to deal with when you are dealing with pieces that are literally this small. But we do want a thumb in here. Blend that kind of in as best we can. I don't need to worry about the bottom of the hand because again she's going to be clenching down, which saves on a decent amount of work that I need to do. Of course, I went ahead and I put the thumb on the wrong side, so we just did the right hand because I'm good. But that's fine. I kind of want to do both hands, even though this one is going to be the left hand, I kind of want to do both hands together anyway, if only because it helps to get them both the exact same size when you start with both hands together. And I don't know why, but I've done that a number of times now, where I go to do one, I wind up being the exact wrong one. But at the same time, I had like a 3-4 minute intro thing on this, and we are only 8 minutes in, so I'm just gonna roll with it and go ahead and make the other hand. Boop. Boop. Okay, so what I want to do is we want the index finger to be on this side, not the other side. Yeah, middle finger goes out there. Let's get a ring finger. Ring finger goes down there, and then, of course, we have our pinky. Pinky comes down the side over here. All right, facing the right way this time. Let's do this. Although I could do the other hand, I'll just do that one, but I don't know how my mind is set on getting this one done. I'm also going to do significantly less editing on this video than the last one, because I realized to do that, starting from about that 750 mark till the end of the video, so what's that, maybe around 15 minutes or so, that took over probably 6 hours to edit that out and do. And although I'm happy with the way it turned out in the end, it's just for my own sanity, I would like to have a life on the side of this as well. Yes, I could do it, but I also don't want to spend my weekends doing that type of thing forever, and I know it would be good just to have that type of quality for everything. For my own sake, that's not going to happen on a regular basis. Most kind of regular sessions are going to have probably minimal amounts. I'm going to try to have like minimal amounts of edits and whatnot for these. There might be some, but it's not going to be the jump cut heavy kind of thing I did on that, just because I really would like to have some kind of life on the side of this. I need a little me time. So there will be certain areas where that is going to be warranted, and I will come back and do that again. It's just, yeah, I'm not planning on that happening on this particular one. It might go on when I do the detailing part, adding details to the dress or whatnot in just a little bit. It may happen when kind of basing out. It's probably going to happen at least one more time when doing the carving stuff that comes on later in this session. I'm not sure where I'm going to be doing that or not, but that type of stuff, I will be doing that again. It's just going to be more selective when that type of thing, when that type of application gets involved. Because again, I am just me doing this on my own. I don't have a team behind me who can help edit stuff as I just kind of create content and create material. I am working alone on this thing. And yeah, that does place a couple of limits on what can reasonably be accomplished versus not reasonably be accomplished. Okay, just like that, we have kind of a hand going here. It's going to take a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of finagling, but we got the other hand kind of in. And you kind of come down, you go up, you kind of bend in. This hand kind of comes in there. And her hand kind of looks something like that as it comes down in. It's going to bend down a lot, and it's going to be gripping onto this clay. So now that I have this, I do kind of want to bring let's move that hand out of the way. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way here. I probably don't need these tweezers anymore. They did their job. They can go. And I'm just going to go and start by actually just merging this in. This is kind of a decent way to start this fabric. I can always add more to it, take stuff away, but it's pretty much where I want it to be, and it does make for a decent start. So let's do this. Like I said, now is where our back and forth is going to kind of start coming in, because I need the part that she grips to be small enough to fit the hand, but I also need it to kind of work in here. Now this is going to need to come up more for sure. Oh, how can I put this on a camera so you can see what I'm doing? Because otherwise I have like gray up against gray. You can't see anything. So let's see if we can kind of play between what you can see, what I can see, what we can kind of make work over here. All right, get that out. Okay, so if I have something like that, I have something like the hand can go over now, kind of grasp that. That's not bad. That's not bad. I need to be a little lower. We're a little higher right now because the arm kind of is where I want it to be. So the form isn't bad. We're just too high. But we can fix that. We can just do this. Bring a little more of this back down, narrow it up a little bit. Okay, at first I was like, oh, I need to glue this thing onto here. It's like, nope, haven't hardened it yet. And haven't actually ordered the heat gun yet either. I've been a little slow on doing that. I said I was going to do it a few days ago, but can't say officially what my hang up is on that right now. They're actually not that expensive. You can get Most heat guns look like, just looking online, they're about 20 or 30 bucks right now. You can get a decent one, and that's fine. It's just I ran into some snafus not too long ago where somebody went and decided to commit credit card fraud and use my credit card halfway across the country without my knowledge. And I have a new card and all that, but I've been a little slow to do any kind of online purchases since then, since I got that resolved. So we'll get to it. We're getting there, but sometimes dumb stuff happens, and credit card fraud is not fun. It wasn't that hard to deal with, but it's not the fun feeling, you know, somehow, somewhere along the way, somebody got your info from something. It's like, now you have to deal with it. And, how's this? Is that looking... That's looking a little better. We come up, that's kind of within reason, because then the wrist is going to come down. So I think that's now within reason. I can use this. I can use that, I can use that, I can use that. So before I get going on stuff, we can... I see we have a fold that wants to kind of come down there. Like I said, this is part of our back and forth. The more of the dress I get done before the arm gets done makes it easier, because then I can still hit this and not have bad stuff happen. So I'm going to be prioritizing getting kind of that hand there, but getting more of the dress kind of going than I am with getting that arm and hand physically installed. I may physically install that next time, to be honest, because we're already 17 minutes in. I'm trying to do roughly half-hour segments as we go. So I know when I started on my very first project, I was doing hour-long segments. When I went and did that was on the Bang Shishigami one. When I went and did the Kai one, I dropped them down to 45 roughly minute segments. And now I'm trying to keep them down to about a half hour. I'm trying to find a sweet spot where somebody may want to actually watch these and not just feel overwhelmed with something being too long. So as long as we can get the main idea of here right, we can already see this is starting to, as we're getting these crenulations in, it is starting to feel a little more like what it's supposed to feel like. Okay. And I think I've been actually relatively good, and you'll be able to see most of what I've been doing now on camera. Camera is usually my enemy in a lot of this stuff, just trying to keep things in a good visual field while simultaneously working on this is sometimes, you might think that's a no-brainer and really easy to do. It's not always as easy to do as you think. And now I'm feeling back in the good old days here, just I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. Because I don't feel like I've had one of those types of sessions in a while, to be honest. So it's actually not a bad feeling. Let's see. So in here, we are going to want this to pop out. I still have... So give me 1 second here. I want to get some... I just want to get a little bit of aluminum foil out here, so now that we know... that. So I'll do a little more playing off camera. That's just where we're going to stop this one right now. But yeah, it's not the biggest woohoo worth of change on here, but this is definitely a step in the right direction on this. Just kind of getting that put in. So that's where we're going to be, and next time, I said off camera, I'll probably keep working on this. I might do the other side too, and then next time hopefully we'll get the arms themselves kind of going in here. And I love ending this when it's completely blurry, because there's not a thing we can do about that. I guess I can zoom in just a little bit more. Can we get less blurry? Less blurry? Nope. Well, sorry for ending it this way. Alright, well, that was a little bit awkward. Didn't expect things to end out of focus as it did, but since the last session ended, I was going to end the video there. I did a little bit more work. I added a couple more folds down coming from the hands down on the side here. I really accentuated this section out and kind of worked it a little smoother. And yeah, just kind of did a little bit all the way around, just kind of smooth things off. And I will say up top here has been super easy, if only because this is now just a massive clay up top. But anywhere where it's just kind of this one layer down here we're trying to play with, anytime I try to add stuff into it, it kind of almost made it thinner as I kind of kept pushing it out, and have to cut down a little more, then put in, push out, cut a little more. So it's a little trickier working with, actually see, it's kind of working with something that's like this, trying to add to it. It's a lot easier to add to it when it's just a massive clay like at the top here. But no, did kind of smooth things out a little bit, did add a little bit more. And like I said, next time I'll probably do this side off camera, because you've already seen how this side works. And next time we're definitely going to be working on the arm up here and at least have this whole part good to go by then. But nope, just didn't want to end it on a blurry video. Just kind of feels bad doing it that way. So that's where we're going to go now. And until next time, enjoy.